Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down and talking about the two coaches that the Dallas Cowboys both recently hired. I really love what Christian Parker has been doing on the defensive side of the football and the staff that he's creating and forming. But I'll talk about why this should have been happening for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll talk about other things as well. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. Straight into it. The Dallas Cowboys have signed former University of Georgia outside linebacker coach Chidera Uso. I don't want to mess the man's name, but he has been hired by the Dallas Cowboys to be their outside linebackers coach. He has been at Georgia since 2022, and he was considered a rising star in the coaching world. And that is something that is a trend that I'm noticing and a pattern I'm starting to noticing from most of our coaches that we've been hiring recently on the offense side of the ball. With that being Clayton Adams, our current OC, Connor Riley, Coach Adams coming from Oregon. We're having a lot of great minds on the offensive and the defensive side of the football. Um, so, albeit with him being considered a rising star, he was also known for his development of guys like first round pick Nolan Smith and the other first round pick who is in competition with it. Jalen Walker is the other guy that Chidera was known for developing. Jalen Walker, he's right now in competition for Defensive Rookie of the Year with his teammate James Pierce Jr. So he is the first Georgia assistant coach to completely leave the staff this offseason. So, you know, it is what it is in terms of that. I'm also going to be breaking down. He also was part of slides as well. When he was an intern, talking about Chidera, he was an intern before. He was an assistant at SMU and TCU before going to Georgia in 2022. So he has like some slideshows. Shout out to John Oding. He posted them on his Twitter of the type of nuance and attention to detail that he wants his outside linebackers to bring and what he wants them to do. I'll talk about that and I'll show the slides as well. But the Dallas Cowboys also signed Marcus Dixon to be their defensive line coach. Yes, the same Marcus Dixon that used to play for the Dallas Cowboys is now our defensive line coach. He worked with Christian Parker, now our DC in Denver, and we just took him from the Minnesota defensive line. So now he's going to join like members on staff like Derek Ansley and Ryan Smith. Derek Ansley, our pass game coordinator, and Ryan Smith, our cornerbacks coach. So I really like the hire for Marcus Dixon as well. I really like the up and coming outside linebackers coach that we got from Georgia. Because the reason why I really like the outside linebacker hire, I also like Marcus Dixon as well. Not diminishing that at all. But with Chidera being the up and coming defensive line coach, what I'm noticing on these slides I'm about to present to you guys right here is the attention to detail. And I believe that's what's been the biggest problem in Dallas, is that it shows up in playoff games and it shows up in every single big game that we play, is that we're just not a team that is paying attention to the nuance of the game of football. And we have a lot of mental blunders and a lot of big mistakes on the offensive, defensive, and special team side of the football. We have a lot of issues on those times, right? So defensively, what I like, what he brings, what he was showing on these slides were, different, like hand blocking technique. He broke down the three phases of pass rush, the finish, fight zone, the move area, the approach, the get off. He talks about the sequence of the eyes that he's looking for in his outside linebackers. He's talking about what he's looking for in the run progression and what their reads need to be. He talks about what their responsibilities need to be. He talks about the three phases like pass rush, playing the run, and coverage. He talks about what he expects out of his outside linebackers. He talks about his practice philosophy, and something I really like. I'm just going to read a couple of bullet points off him. The number one thing that he put on there was create a fun environment, but at the same time overload the practice. And the reason why I feel like you should be doing that, and these pros, they already know, again, it's not rocket science. You practice how you play. You make practice tough as hell, so also once the game comes, the game is a breeze because you worked your tail off all in the off season. in mini camp, training camp, all the things that you've been doing in the off season. That's why it's imperative to have these attention to details and have these detail oriented coaches. We talked about make practice and drills harder than the game. So when that moment comes in the game, it's nothing new. How you practice will show up in how you play. The peer pressure from your teammates through drills and competition. And he left a quote that was by the Navy SEALs that if we don't rise to the occasion, we fall to the level of our training. So again, I really love what Chidera is going to bring to our coaching staff, along with Marcus Dixon. Another thing I'm gonna leave off with when it comes to another slide that he presented, it was everyone learns differently, which is true. Understand the best ways your players digest information and do a good job of incorporating teaching techniques that allow your players to learn the best. You get what you emphasize. Knowledge equals confidence equals playing fast. And he also stated that my job is to make you do the things you don't want to do so you can achieve the things that you never would have achieved. So again, I really like how detail oriented both coaches are for the Dallas Cowboys. And then also just speaking about the way in which we are as an organization in terms of, man, I just really wish that again, I understand the circus of the Dallas Cowboys and the type of, we don't do things in the norm, and that's fine because that's just who we are. We have no, we can't really change or anything like that. But I really wish that the Joneses would have let Coach Schottenheimer have full control over this roster. And again, I understand with the Dallas Cowboys, you have to show them something in order for them to do something. So Brian Schottenheimer didn't prove anything in terms of, he didn't prove anything crazy to us that we already didn't know. We know that we spent plenty of resources on the offensive line, at tight end, at wide receiver, the running back position. We didn't pour too much resources in. We understand when Dak Prescott is healthy and he's playing at an elite level and he has an offense that is an actual modernized offense, and when you have two dog wide receivers with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, you have a really good solid tight end, and Jake Ferguson, Javonte Williams plays above expectations, and you have future all pros. You already have an all pro with Tyler Smith, a future all pro Tyler Booker, right guard. You dedicated resources and you gave resources to your head coach, and he proved it on the offense side of the football. But the reason why I'm saying we didn't learn anything was because we already knew what our offense can be at full strength when everyone's healthy and you have good players that complement each other correctly. It's the defense side of the football that we don't pour resources into, right? So I'm going to stay more consistent, and you guys are going to hold me consistent like everybody else does. I'm going to stay very consistent, and that is you can put together the best staff in the world, but if you do not have the talent to that equals to your coaching staff, so also your coaching staff can maximize really great players on the team, it won't matter. Get great players to complement your great coaches. You're gonna have a damn good defense. What are some players? Again, we broke today. Again, that's why I love Super Bowl Media Week. There's a lot of things that come out. A lot of people talk. So it's been reported that star defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders, Max Crosby, their relationship is turning sour. They didn't like how they shut him down for the last game of the season, last 2-3 games of the season. He didn't like that. So eventually he's going to want to get traded. What the Dallas Cowboys should do is give up pick 12 or pick 20, which one the Raiders want. They're not getting both, but they will get one. And I am willing to move off of 12 to get a guy like Max Crosby. You get Chidera to work with a guy like Max Crosby. You get, Marcus Dixon to work with guys like, Quentin Williams. You figure out the money situation and what you're going to do with Kenny Clark. Uzo-Diribe. I love that. Donovan Ezeraku. I love that defensive line a hell of a lot more than trying to bank on the 12th overall pick. Now if that 12th overall pick ends up being Caleb Downs, it sucks. It truly does. But it won't matter if Caleb Downs goes in the top 5 or top 10. He will be selected in the first round. But again, I would rather have Max Crosby than Caleb Downs. I would love to have both. But realistically, if I can only get one, I'll take Max Crosby, and I'll try and see if we can finagle something else and trying to go get Mika Fitzpatrick from the Miami Dolphins. But let's make sure for the Dallas Cowboys that we're getting talent on this defense side and pour in the same resources that you do for the offense side of the football on the defensive side of the football. So that's why somewhere we can meet in the middle with really great coaching staff on the offense and defensive side of the football, and we can prayerfully play around this time next year. But Dallas Cowboys, at the end of the day, they have to do their job. That's really what it boils down to. They're going to have to do their job. I love what Christian Parker is doing on the defense side of the football. He's not hiring his best friends. He's hiring the best people at their job to come in and be great coaches for the Dallas Cowboys. But then also another thing that we're going to talk about before I leave is we're also getting guys that complement each other well and that have the same idea in the thought process of Christian Parker. They want their players to play a certain way. They're all going to teach in this particulars in the same way. All their philosophy is the same and everything like that, because eventually we are going to lose Christian Parker. If Christian Parker does his job similar to Dan Quinn or better than Dan Quinn, he's going to end up getting a head coaching job somewhere, and we're going to be looking for a new DC. So if that's Chidera, if that's Derek Ansley, if that's Marcus Dixon, whoever the case might be, have those guys teach the same way, think the same, have the same coaches on the same line, on the same string, one voice. So that's why once Christian Parker leaves, we can have a new defensive coach, and we can be just like what the Rams do, what the 49ers do, what the Eagles do, where their team, they draft, they understand who they are defensively, they understand their scheme, they just get a new defensive coordinator, they drop the same scheme players, and there's not a major drop-off in their defense. But you see with the Dallas Cowboys, it looks one way in 2020, that's a major drop-off. 2021 to 2023, it looks really good. It drops off. Once Dan Quinn leaves, Mike Zimmer looks one way, then it majorly drops off again with Matt Eberflus. So prayerfully, because again, we were one of the historically worst defenses of all time, top 4, top 5. We have no other way but to go up with Christian Parker. But again, the way that arrow goes up and the way the defense gets better is what it always boils down to, is what the Joneses do and what Will McClay and that scouting department finds in free agency. They have to participate in that. They have to free up the money and get the best players available. Things like that. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay blessed. Bye.